No.
Does it give oxygen to the fire?
Exactly. It's a chemical that when it breaks down, releases oxygen. Perfect answer. Well done.
Sugar.
So, if I mix these together, if we're very lucky, we can get a fire going. But it needs something called a catalyst, which is something that is going to initiate the reaction. I'm going to use friction here so we can cover two things at once. Fire by friction, fire by chemicals. I use something rough against something else rough, so this piece of wood against this stone. We add in the friction. We might just be lucky enough. Today might not be the day. It's a bit damp. We might just get a chemical fire, and I don't think I'm going to get it today. So what we're going to do, just so I can demonstrate what does happen when you are successful, is use the cheats method.
Before you do that, what did you put sugar there?
Sugar and potassium permanganate.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is water purifying.
Yeah, wow.
Starting, it's getting there. Something a bit more spectacular.
Wow.
Right, there we go.
Sugar and potassium manganate.
Oh, don't go near the fire. You have
And friction or any other heat source. Start a fire.
So look at that burnout. We've got, so that's basically like our most modern method. Another thing you can use as a catalyst is glycerin, actually. If you put a bit of glycerin on, that will activate the reaction. You don't have to use friction. Maybe I should get some glycerin.
And where's glycerin in your everyday stuff?
So glycerin probably wouldn't be in my everyday stuff unless I specifically packed it for firelight purposes, yeah?
For diabetes.
Diabetes, yeah, sugar. So we'll all know these, right?
Fire starters.
Matches, they fall into a category much like this. It's friction and chemical. Firelighting method. Anyone see one of these?
Nope.
Anyone going to give me the correct name? Go on. Close, but no cigar. This is one that everyone always mistakes. We're going to go on to a flint and steel in a minute. This is what's called the ferrocerium rod, or fire striker, fire steel, ferro rod. It has a lot of names. It's a mixture of magnesium, it's a flammable metal, and I think iron. And when you strike it,
Whoa.
hot sparks. The advantage of these is A, quite often survival tools have them built in, like my knife. B, they are pretty much waterproof. So I soak that.
Wow.
Definitely wet, right?
Yeah. Whoa.
Still getting sparks. It will wear down, but one of these you're going to get about 100,000 strikes out.
100,000 strikes.
It's really good because it's going to be a pretty decent permanent source of fire for you as long as you don't lose it.
Speaking from experience, certainly.
So, right.
Cotton wool.
It
First
doesn't
aid
start
kit.
very easily, but what it doesn't do, it doesn't burn for very long.
Right.
So again, I'm going to look to my first aid kit, my pack. Things I might be carrying with me. And I've got some
First aid pack. Vaseline. Probably what Taiwo's girlfriend uses in the olive oil. Oh yeah.
So, thinking about the fire triangle, what am I giving it more of when I add Vaseline? Right? No? I'm giving it more fuel. I'm going to let it burn for a longer period of time. So, we'll do side by side so you understand why we're going to add the Vaseline.
Okay, so one without Vaseline
This
and
is
one with
without
Vaseline.
This is with Vaseline.
Okay. Oh, interesting. The one with Vaseline burns a lot better. Interesting. Wow. It lasts longer as well.
So, well, we'll wait and see.
It's a bigger flame, definitely. Yeah. I never knew I knew Vaseline was flammable, but I never.
So we've already almost doubled the amount of time that's burning for.
Wow.
Just because of the paraffin wax, yeah, the Vaseline. It's made paraffin, right? Yes. The reason we want to intensify exaggerate the amount of time that our fire is burning for is so that our small twigs, our tinder, is going to have the best chance of burning. So that is the method that we're going to try first today. And that is your pretty standard modern survivalist way of lighting fires. So any survival pack, any decent survival tin is going to have those three factors: a ferro rod, Vaseline, some cotton wool. That's not to say you can't use natural things. There are plenty of fibrous plants in UK woodland that you might find that will take a spark just as easily. I was doing a firelighting session last week, and we've got cattails. They're the big rushes that you see growing by the canal, big brown ones. When they dry out, sort of fuzz them apart, break them apart, and they become really fluffy like cotton wool, and they'll do just the same thing. So you can find things like that in nature. Right then. So pine trees,
clear A4 area.
We need to worry a lot more about tree roots because they're full of sap
Area.
and they can burn.
Remove all the leaves.
So
If it's not peat, check it's not peat.
just thing to bear in mind. Another thing to bear in mind actually is looking up. You're about to set a camp. Look up and look for deadfall. Look for branches.
Dead branches.
Look for new branches hanging from trees. You don't want to get clouted on the head just to set a camp, right?
Yeah. So clear the area first.
You want bit of charcoal, pinch it in my fingers, right next to where I'm striking the piece of flint. And I'm going to hope, if I'm really lucky, that one of those sparks is going to land on my charcoal. This might take me a while. I've got to find a nice sharp edge on the piece of flint, so it's a bit trial and error.
Whoa.
Right, one has just landed.
Whoa.
Okay. So there we can see that's smouldering away.
Yeah.
But it's not flaming. So I'm going to put that very carefully inside my piece of barley straw and give it more air.
Whoa. That's cool.
Now
Wow.
we're taking that tiny little dull spark to a bright orange flame.
Interesting.
Now you can see that
Middle
was
Ages.
much more difficult than the early
Using
methods
flint
that we did.
and
So that
steel.
led to the importance of being able to carry fire with you, so you didn't have to make fire every single time. So that brings us to our oldest fire lighting method that we're going to cover today. Has anyone heard of Otzi the Iceman?
no.
So he was an ice mummy that was found in the Alps, and he died, I think it was 2000 BC, something like that, so he's like, what, 6,000 years old now. And he was carrying with him a piece of this fungus. This is a King Alfred's cake, which is a type of fungus that grows on primarily ash trees, but various different types of trees. And it's what we call a tinder extender. So it's not used to light a fire in the first place. It's actually used because of its properties once it's lit. It smoulders for a really, really, really long time. You can have this smoulder away for days, and it'll die down. You just ignore it, and you give it a blow, and suddenly you'll have an ember again. So, what people way back when, before we had tools like this, before we even had tools like hitting flint against a piece of naturally found iron, people would find trees that had been hit by lightning strikes, naturally occurring fires, and they would find fungus like this and just use it to keep the fire alive. So, I'm going to cheat a bit and just get this burning. Imagine this is my wildfire or my lightning strike or whatever. Once I've got that smouldering, see, you want to have a closer look. Maybe I'll walk round. Looks like it's gone out, but give it a good blow. Blow. There we go. So we still have the ember, yeah? So it's still going, give it a blow. There we go. Have a look.
So history.
So we're talking. Well, this was the principal fire lighting method from, say, about 500 AD right through to the 1800s when these guys got invented.
Matches.
So pretty much everyone would have something like this, a tinder box. And they'd have this, which is I said its name earlier, a flint and steel. It is literally a piece of steel and a piece of flint.
What is flint?
A flint, it's a rock that, I think it's metamorphic rock if I'm right. It's chalk naturally, quite frequently. It's a very, very hard, naturally occurring rock. And what I'm going to do is use that sharp edge of my piece of flint to shave bits of metal off the steel, which will auto-ignite. They're so small that the friction of hitting them, cushion, is going to cause them to ignite. And you probably won't be able to see any sparks come off this from where you are, to be fair. There's a very small...
Oh, I see, I saw, yeah.
Orange spark.
Yeah.
Can you see how, compared to the ferrocerium rod, how few I'm getting? And they're orange. Can anyone say what that might mean about them? Orange rather than white, but colder. Yeah. So I need something that's going to take a spark a bit easier than our cotton wool. So my tinder box, A, it's what to store all my things in, but B, it has a double purpose. I can use it to make this. This is called charcloth.
Charcloth.
Charcloth. So it's bits of cotton or linen. It would have been historically linen, fabric, like what you make a t-shirt out of. And I've put them in my tinder box and put the lid on. You can see there's a very small hole on the top of the tinder box. That means that if I was then to put that into a fire, it's going to burn but with no oxygen, just like making charcoal. So I've got these strips of almost entirely pure carbon, and these take sparks like nobody's business. The problem is they don't burn, they smoulder. They smoulder very, very hot. So I need something that will take heat and then become flammable. So I've got straw with me today, but really any kind of very dry organic matter is going to work for this purpose. I could just ask, sorry, what's your name? David, if I could ask you to just shuffle over that way a little bit, just in case you get... Okay? Yep. That is because I don't want you to dull all of my blades. I spend all day sharpening them. So the back of the knife. And you take your rod in your opposite hand. I'm left-handed. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed. And you start So finger and thumb on the rod, and you are going to put your knife at about a 45-degree angle with the blade facing away from yourself, okay? And you're going to push. Or you can pull. Pulling with the rod has its advantages because you're not going to cast your knife into the fire, right? So pulling with the rod is what I would recommend. 45-degree angle with the blade facing away from yourself. You will find that some of these strikers have got a plastic coating on them, black plastic, so you need to take a few strikes before you will get a spark.
Do we go?
And you can go ahead, yeah, go for it.
Whoa.
There you go.
Wow. Wow.
Doesn't matter, just do it. Try and where you see the exposed silver, that's where you'll get the spark.
More like this.
There we go. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Strong Abdul.
That's it, there we go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just for my mum.
Then it's going to be, going.
Yeah.
So let's have a quick look here.
So, the fluffy bits are going to like easiest, yeah? There you go, perfect.
Wow, wow, wow.
Pull it apart a little bit.
Perfect, well done.
Not quite as pretty.
Oh, well done.
There we go.
So, your technique would be perfect if we were using this, right? But with the ferro rods, it's more of a striking mode. Imagine like striking rack.
Thank you very much, Goshen. Thank you, Goshen.
So, I want you guys to go starting from as far away as possible, working backwards towards here. 4 different grades of wood in neat piles.
So we're on a matchstick,
Matchstick, chopstick,
and if it breaks, then that means it's dry.
we'll do
Show you how cold it is.
Okay.
Can you see my breath?
Yes. That's still going.
Yeah, that was mine because I put Vaseline on it.
That's impressive.
Thank you. Wow, it's kind of good to say that.
So if you've got wood,
So-
we're going to try and source it in order.
But you know.
Yes, alright.
So, we'll do...
Wrist sticks, finger sticks, matchsticks
Yeah,
in a pile.
so... Try and get them.
So,
Fantastic teamwork. I love to see people just getting on and doing it. Normally when I'm working with, say, a school group or whatever, this takes about half an hour. Because everyone's just moping around going, is this a good stick? Is this a good stick?
One at a time.
Figure it out! Right. Yeah. So well done with that. One thing I didn't tell you at the start, and this was deliberate, is that I've made you collect way more wood than we need. Right?
Mean.
There's a good reason for that. Always collect 3 times as much wood as you need. Or you think you need. Because you will need more wood than you think you do. So if you get this job out of the way, you are going to save your legs at 2 o'clock in the morning when the fire starts going out and it's pitch black dark. You've got a good supply. Yeah. Matchsticks. We've got loads. I'm really glad. But at the start, everyone was focusing on really big stuff. which I understand that is, you totally go to, you think, oh yeah, it's a really great log, but we don't think about actually getting our fire going in the first place, which is what we need the matchstick for. Good grading, I love to see, because it just makes every step along the way easier. So, what we're going to do now is a principle that I call making a firehouse. And
No, it's a fire home.
a fire home, yeah. We're all friends here. So, we use the raised fire pit for this. I'll show you guys what I want you to do, and then you guys can just sort of take turns at actually trying to construct it the same way. So every house needs a good foundation. All right? So we build a foundation for a house out of either finger sticks or wrist sticks. Sometimes people call this a raft, I like to call it a foundation. We're building a foundation for the house. Any ideas why we might want to build a base for our fire to lift it off the ground?
So air can go, oxygen can get underneath.
That's one reason, perfect. Any others? Around hot or cold? Cold. What does the fire need?
Hot.
Heat. So it elevates it away from the cold.
If it rains,
Then
then
it rains,
the floor is wet.
floor is wet, it's raised off the ground. The last thing is, as our fire burns downwards on that base, those will catch fire, but will catch fire much more slowly. And that means we get embers. When you're cooking, you don't want big flames. You want glowing, slow embers, just like a barbecue, right? That's what's going to give us a heart to our fire, or embers.
What kind of fabric is that then? That doesn't burn.
It's gauze, metal gauze.
Gauze, metal gauze.
So, the next thing a house needs is some walls.
Walls, okay. Is that dry enough? Yeah, that's dry, yeah. Oh, okay.
We make a sort of hashtag. People might have seen this before. The classic.
Okay. Matchsticks, finger sticks, wrist sticks.
We'll build our hashtag. And I'm not going to go all the way up, but we want to be going about this sort of height. Okay?
Alright.
And then, once we've done that, chuck a bit of cotton wool with you.
Okay.
And
Cotton
we're going
wool.
to fill it with a few pieces of cotton wool covered in Vaseline.
Right.
They go in the middle.
Vaseline.
The last thing is we build our roof.
Right. Interesting. So we put matchsticks on last.
Yeah. That's the roof to our house. Everything should burn down nicely. Once that is established, we're going to change the style of fire a little bit. We'll get to that. What I want to do to start with is just, if you as a team, whoever wants to join in, get us a house built. Okay? Go for it.
In the same way you did it before. So, so is there a reason why we put the big ones at the bottom, and you said, and the small ones at the top? You said.
Yeah. So, what's going to happen is, as the fire at the top burns downwards, that creates slow burning embers at the bottom from those thicker pieces, and that means that we get a good cooking fire.
Cooking fire.
Yeah.
That's a funny hashtag.
Because you want to make air.
Figure it out.
But I was wondering, does it have to be
I'm learning for home.
pieces on each
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want to get oxygen in.
I know we could do, let's say, 4. That would still actually so if you build it upwards, it gives you still the air. Yeah. You can add to it.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Wow. Very clever.
Yeah.
I'm cooking from my voice.
7 of those.
Okay, so we're just putting cotton wool inside with Vaseline. Lots of cotton wool and Vaseline. Okay, bro.
Right. Tell you what. We're going to. First off, who wouldn't like to light the main fire?
I don't really.
You don't really want to. So if you would like to have a go at lighting the main fire, You're going to play a game with me to decide who gets to do it. Okay. So, because we've only got one fire to light. So, this is called the stick game.
Once the house is burnt, now we put a starfish on.
So, we're not going to build it
Standard
high.
structural engineering.
What? Sorry, remind me your name.
My name?
Yeah.
Simeon.
Simeon. Right. You were saying about putting a pan on it.
Yeah.
We've made it into this star shape, so it'll burn down gradually onto that nice ember base that we've got there. So exactly, you can easily put a pan straight on a flat fire that's got all the embers. The other reason is, once these end pieces have burnt away, you'll have unburnt sticks poking out. So if I want my fire to go hotter, I push them to the middle. If I want to go out foraging, but hope that I've still got a fire when I come back, I pull the sticks out. The fire dies down, smoulders. When I come back, I push them back in. And then the fire comes up again, yeah?
What's this bubbling out of this? Has it still got some stuff in it?
Yeah, it will be sap or water.
It's very hot. It's very hot. Man,
Test it before.
it's teaching me a lot of things.
Logs out, leaving it to smoulder, and
Teaching
push
me
it
a
back
lot.
in and just catch it straight away.
So why?
Because it's already still got embers on that end.
And your wood is already hot and dry.
Yeah.
Right?
But still efficient as a means of heat control.
Yeah. And you'll see that design of fire in every indigenous population in the world. It's just so the natural way of being able to control your fire. Aborigines do it. They do it in the South America. They do it pretty much everywhere. Our ancestors would have done the same thing.
We're the only ones that get to this age and don't know how to do it. This generation.
So far removed from
So far removed, yeah, from
our
like,
origins.
Yeah, 100%. Very, very
Have a
far,
coffee
very, very
break.
quickly.
Could do with one of you. So we'll have a quick coffee break. We can get on with some more stuff after that.
Cordial.
Tree, so it's called greenwood.
Okay.
Very bendable, and if you look inside, the bark is green, yeah?
Green
So
bark.
it's fresh off the tree. That means it's full of sap,
Full of sap.
connected with the tree's blood.
Blood.
So it's full of water because the tree's alive. Once the
Right.
tree dies, that
Yeah.
water evaporates out of the wood,
Right.
so it becomes snappable, dry on the
okay.
inside. Even if it's wet on the outside, the bark has protected it from the rain, so the centre is still dry.
Dry. Okay.
So it will still burn. It might smoke, it might smell, but it will still burn.
It's hot. It's good, isn't it?
It's kind of like asking why there's no blood in the person when they die, even if they get rained on.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know.
Oh, yeah, it's a good analogy.
Beautiful. Look how easy it is to have a fire. Now we know. And it's a good fire
Finally.
starter. Cotton wool and Vaseline is a good fire starter.
What might you recommend as a natural outdoor alternative?
Well, outdoor alternative.
Straw, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Bark.
Here's a good one.
Beechwood bark.
Should back,
Let's see if we can succeed with this, because I've got a question about a natural alternative.
Yeah.
So birch bark.
Birch bark.
Nice dry birch bark. Let's imagine that it isn't off one of my kiln dried logs, and we've just found it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How easy is it? Yeah. That'd be interesting to know.
If I can scrape the inside of my birch bark with a knife.
Right.
Yeah, so you don't just like grab it and chuck it in a fire.
That's
Make
really
the
good to
fire
know.
on.
Good to know. You scrape it. So why are we scraping it?
So, you'll see that in a moment.
Right.
You see, I've scraped it
Yeah.
almost like a dust.
Powder.
Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Really good.
again, this is hit and miss, but
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
nearly, not quite.
Whoa. Yes. It's on fire. Yes.
We've got an ember, okay?
Wow. Very good.
So, well, you get the idea,
I
right?
get the idea. We
So
feel
that's
the
a good
heat.
alternative to cotton wool.
Interesting.
Another one is
Save a lot of money. Because cotton wool is cheaper than fire lattes, definitely.
have paracord. I'm surprised if it didn't have paracord.
Vaseline.
That's my pie.
I think we did a thing where you run the blade this time. You can get the cotton fibres from the
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, that's clever.
Idea.
What was that, sorry?
Cotton wool from your...
I've done your leggings to get
The fibres.
Yeah, that works. That works. Parachute cord. Quite often, survival bracelets, they're made out of parachute cord. The inside of that is really fibrous. That works well.
And that's like just hoodies and stuff as well.
Yeah.
We can burn all our fluff from the dryer.
Dryer fluff, right? Okay.
My God, that's good.
If you mix dryer fluff with wax, and then put it mould it round a stick, you've got a candle.
Quite dry, it's catch fire as well. Got all that fluff in. And friction.
Yeah, when in doubt, let your
Why?
yeah,
Why
let
you
your
need
fire
clear
dry.
Nice. Way for us to easily feed into the middle of our fire. Would anyone like to volunteer to be the person that puts the bundle of matchsticks on the top? All right, ready to go. Perfect. So the victor of the stick game, if you would like to take my knife, and if you look in the handle, it'll twist apart. There's a little ferro rod in there. Okay.
Do you want a drum roll?
There's no Vaseline on the first one, I think.
That's true.
So if you angle the blade away from yourself,
That way.
so no, the back of the blade, but angle it away. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Well done, keep going, we believe in you.
So keep that
Remember
wrist.
that angle on the blade. Yeah.
We believe in
Keep that right
you.
wrist down.
Whoa, good one,
There you
good
go.
one, good
Right
one.
wrist down.
Good one, good one, good one. Good one.
Yeah.
Blow, 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 blow. Do we need to blow on it?
We can let that establish.
Oh, the house is on fire now.
Whoa. We need a roof now, right?
The roof is on fire. We don't need no water, let it burn.
Yeah, so if you want to put some matchsticks on top, feel free, but mind your fingers.
Okay, let's do one or two. Like this. Okay.
Mind your fingers before stroking it.
Quite a pretty house, isn't it?
It's quite hot already. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, can you take a photo?
More back right now.
Wow.
Nice.
So now we can put a pan on top, yeah?
So, I think if we let that burn now, we should
Frozen already, are you?
start to get a reasonably well established fire. Manageable chunk. Take your knife. These are called Scandi grind knives. They've got a very thick spine on them. About 45-degree blade, which makes them very easy to sharpen. They're very durable, and you can really horrifically abuse them. So what I can do, if you lay your blade on a section of the wood, using the mid part, thickest part of the blade, tap it into the wood. You get nice fine pieces. Okay.
Battening.
Do that again. So once I've got enough of these, those are really useful for making that hashtag part.
Okay.
This is called batting. These batting. So yeah, that's a little, slightly boring little tip. The important thing to remember when you're battening is to use the bit of the blade that's closest to the handle. And when you've hammered it in so it's flush, you're going to have to start hitting the end of the blade. Now what tends to happen then is the blade starts to tilt. So you've got to keep this arm firm. If it doesn't, and you go straight down, you get your nice just about ready, Kim? Right. And one of you is going to pinch either end. The other one is going to blow.
So you make the nest, put the chalk cloth in, light the chalk cloth, flip it over, pinch it on the sides, and then blow.
Until we get our flame. As soon as you see a flame, you're going to back up.
Right.
Okay?
So we're going to use this.
A little bit of a trickier method. We'll see how we get on.
So what's this stick called again?
Sorry?
What's this called again?
Ferro rods.
Ferro rod. Do you know how much they cost?
They're about, well, I got a pack of those for about £10.
Oh.
There's about 10 in there. So.
Oh, they last for 10,000 shots.
Yeah, so we'll make a little nest out of our
Ferro
barley
rods.
straw. I'll hand that out.
Nest of barley straw.
And I'll hand out some chalk cloth.
Amanda, body system. I look after you, you look after me. You save me, you save me.
A fresh piece of chalk cloth.
Look after you guys.
Make sure we
Oh, my eyes. Yeah. And he's got too much mother. Watch your hair. What? I don't think it
So is that a special pipe for blowing things?
It's called a blow poker or a telescopic bellows. So I can use it as poker, but I can use it to
Blow as well.
shoot the fire. Sorry?
That would have saved me getting smoke in my face.
This was a birthday present, I think. But yeah, you can get them from Amazon, eBay, camping shops, anything like that. Right. So once for 3 hours in exposure without shelter or warmth, or depending on if it's exposed to extreme heat, shade. 3 days without food. That's right. I've done 3 days without water. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. So let's start again. 3 minutes without air. 3 hours in exposure. 3 days without water. 3 weeks without food. 3 months without a companion. People always forget that one because you need someone to help you to forage, to build shelter, and to keep you sane. If your mind goes, then your body goes very quickly after. And then finally, it's 3 years to be able to put a pop-up tent back into its bag. So, what we've done here with fire lighting is address what the second of our rule of 3.
Exposure.
We are preventing exposure. We've got the source of heat. We'd also probably try and address at the same time as fire shelter. We're not doing shelter building today, but that would be what we'd do if I was doing it. And of course, 3 days without water. Once we've got our fire, we can boil our water. We've got a reasonably safe source of drinking water. So the next thing that I do in, like to say, in bushcraft is that we leave no trace. We've been really privileged to have this space to use today. We want it to still be here for people to use again. We also want any kind of natural flora and fauna to return to the state that they were in before we were here. So obviously we can't completely leave no trace whatsoever, but can leave as little trace as possible. It also comes in to if you were in a survival situation where you had to flee from someone, or didn't want to be tracked or traced, leaving no trace is a good habit to have, as well well as if you're doing something like wild camping, which I do a lot, technically it's illegal. But most landowners, when you're wild camping technically illegally, are going to have a lot less beef with you if you're not leaving traces of yourself being there. So, pitch up at dark, leave at dawn. So we'll work on leaving no trace. The first thing we need to address is that we've got a fire. Normally I'd be doing this as a ground level fire, just like how we've been practicing, but we're using a raised fire pit today. It's the same principle. You don't chuck water straight into the middle of a fire. Any ideas?
No.
Exactly. It'll kick up steam and ash and sparks. And everyone will know where you were. You might get hurt, you might start a wildfire. So you go gradually from the outwards in. Just go all the way around. In spiral. Okay. Right to the middle. Right, move out of the way, sorry. Like I say, I normally do this ground level, so.
I'm hoping I'm still safe. Yeah.
Okay, next thing I'm going to
I feel like I'm dicing my life right now.
do, spread the fire. Okay, spread the ashes. Make sure everything is coated in water. One last drop, make sure everything's extinguished.
Cooking art. Cooking is like an
Last
art,
step,
right? Yeah.
once I can see there's no embers, there's no smoke, I'm going to check absolutely certainly out. The way I'm going to do that is not stick my hand straight in. I'm going to take the back of my hand. Reason is, it's less sensitive. Also, if I burn the back of my hand, it's not the part of my hand that I use the most. Yeah. So a burn on the back of my hand isn't going to be as bad as a burn on the front of it. Yep. And the final thing is there's a reflex. If you touch something hot, palm of your hand, counterintuitively, what happens is you actually grab it. So your burn's going to be a lot worse. So I'm going to take the back of my hand, and if I can feel that that is just warm, I'm happy to say that fire is completely out. So we can take our fire pit. I'm just going to scatter the ashes in the woods somewhere. Maybe cover them with a few leaves. So everybody knows where we've been. And that's that. If we were doing a ground level fire, again, like we've been practicing where you've cleared the earth in front of you, what you would do is scatter leaves, detritus, anything over the top of it to make it look like the woods were before you were here. With that, I think we can gather in the equipment, and that ends firelighting today. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed this.